Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live to talk about episode 3 of the anime series, Just Because. I found myself really feeling bad for Eita by the end of this episode because, for all intents and purposes, he just kind of wants to be left alone. He knows he only has so much time left with the end of the third semester looming and graduation and moving on to college. He's already taken care of the preliminary testing and everything like that, just kind of waiting to hear where he's going to fall in line with that and such like that. And while he has enjoyed reconnecting with Haruto, for the most part, everything else is just kind of dogging him, and he wants to be left alone. He's kind of sort of reconnected with Natsumi, this girl he's long-standingly had an interest in, and there's conflictual stuff going on there because, of course, she has a long-standing interest in Haruto, and so he likes her, but she likes his best buddy, and that's already something that's enough to dog him. Add to the fact that she's constantly threatening him, "Don't you say a word," because he knows, he's very much aware of the fact that Natsumi has had that interest in Haruto, and she'd be utmost embarrassed to have that revealed, So, like, all of these characters, they can't reveal who they like. They don't want to make that confession. The one who is trying the most to make a confession is Haruto himself, and that is for Hatsuki, the brass band girl, and like the whole aspect of his giving chase when he gets a text from Hatsuki's friend, we're out for a walk, we have our beagle with us, come join us, that kind of thing. Everything about his giving chase and riding his bike through the rain and getting lost at one point, he's like, where the hell am I? Trying to catch up with them and just to be with Hatsuki, just to hang out with her and everything like that, even in spite of the fact that she has this little beagle with them. And apparently he's like terrified of dogs. He has a very bad reputation with dogs. And he ends up thinking that's going to be the one thing that keeps them parted, that they're never going to hook up because as long as she has a dog and I can't get along with dogs, that's going to be the thing that constantly ruins it, But like every single expressive sigh that he releases, every expression on his face when he finally does catch up with them and he like falls on his ass and there is Hatsuki to give him like a soup or a drink or something to rejuvenate him, and he's like just sitting on the ground, and then there's this dog, this sweet little dog who's just giving him these doe eyes, and then the expressions that evolve or rather devolve from sort of a happy-go-lucky expression to like pitched sort of intensity and then complete utter shock and horror at just trying to get his hand closer and closer to this little puppy. It was absolutely hilarious. And I was laughing way before Hatsuki's friend even started laughing herself, when this dog inevitably growls and snarls and such at him, barks at him, and he recoils all shocked and everything like that. So, that whole aspect was just laugh out loud funny to me, and that's been the most endearing aspect of this show, is the very sort of humanistic, down-to-earth humor. I just love the relatable situations that these characters are in. Everything else about the story, I could understand if somebody came to this show and said, "Oh my God, this is so cliche and convoluted." It's like a unrequited love, quadrangle, because here you have Eita who's interested in Natsumi, but Natsumi is interested in Haruto, and here in this episode you have Kamiya, the photo club girl, going to Natsumi, trying to get Haruto's contact info, and that is completely flabbergasting to Natsumi because she can't reveal the fact that she has that contact info for fear of it being revealed that she has an interest in Haruto. So she goes to Eita and says, "Look, you know him, you give her the information," being completely oblivious to the fact that the only reason Kamiya even wants Haruto's information is to have a through line to Eita, because she took those photos of them both on the baseball field, hitting the home run and everything like that, and she took some great photos, and she wants to submit them to a photo contest, and she needs presumably both of their permissions to submit that photo because they are who are depicted in the photos. So, you have this whole convoluted, crazy mess of cliched, unrequited love scenarios and everything like that. Everybody likes somebody else. Can't sort of get the courage up to reveal that, confess that. And for all of the begrudging Eita gives Haruto for not being able to just come clean, come straight out with the fact that he likes Hatsuki, look at his own reluctance. He can't really reveal how he feels to Natsumi because he knows Natsumi likes Haruto and all of that. It's a complete circle jerk kind of affair. And even in spite of all of that, though, the down-to-earth, calm, soothing atmosphere of this show, the humor, the relatable aspects of these characters. They're all likable. They've all been endeared to me just these 3 episodes on. And I mean, even by the end of the first episode. And with all of that, with all of these sort of convoluted mess that is going on in this story, with all this unrequited love, this coming of age aspect of this story that most people probably would be turned off to, I'm just eating it up. I'm just really that drawn to it, that much more drawn to it, and captivated by it. And I want to see whether or not any of these characters are ever going to actually face their fears and come clean with how they feel about each other and how that's going to play out. I mean, in a perfect world, a happily ever after kind of dynamic, Haruto would be able to, broach his feelings for Hatsuki. And even though she is sort of in her dialogue talking to her friend, she's kind of remorseful almost, and in a sort of resignation phase that she can't carry on her band activities into college, and that her whole band, the brass band, they're going to be splitting up, they're going to be going their separate ways, and she hasn't even sort of considered an artistic career. She's just kind of thinking in terms of, well, I'm going to go to college, and it's going to be kind of blah, and I'm going to get a job, and she's just sort of figured like she's got to grow up out of this artistic pursuit that she's had such a passion for. And again, shades of Hibike Euphonium with that whole conversation, wanting to go to nationals and everything like that. But I feel bad for her as well because, I mean, I don't know that she's going to be reciprocative toward Haruto if he does reveal his feelings for her. Her friend is asking her the whole time, is there a guy you like? I mean, that kind of thing. And she doesn't really answer the question. And that could be the last thing. It could be the furthest thing from her mind, just being still consumed with the little time they have left and knowing that she's going to have to give up this thing she has a passion for, this artistic, scenario of playing an instrument and playing music and everything, which I kind of wish somebody would talk some sense to her, speak to her about the fact that why don't you look for an avenue to continue on with this. Her friend kind of does, but it wasn't as convincing, it wasn't as provocative as maybe, the friend would have hoped, and she just sort of relaxed on her own haunches and was like, sorry I even brought it up, So I don't know. I don't know if she would be reciprocative to Haruto's advances because she's still got so much on her mind, that kind of thing. And similarly so, I would love to see Eita confess to Natsumi, but with Natsumi's having an interest in Haruto, and that's probably never going to happen because he has interest in Hatsuki, as I said. If Natsumi ended up revealing how she feels to Haruto, I think he would probably turn her down. And it would kind of maybe play out nicely if Eita was there to console her as an extension of his feelings for her. But I don't know. And I think at the end of the day, the only thing Kamiya's going to end up getting is like maybe an award, maybe just be told that her photo club doesn't have to shut down. Which, incidentally, I thought it was absolutely laugh out loud funny that she tells her two compatriots in the photo club, okay, we're going to come in today and we're going to clean up. It's like an off day. We're going to clean up the club room and everything, try to impress everyone that we're taking care of things, and we are deserving of having the club. It doesn't need to shut down. And they're the only two who show up. She completely forgot about showing up. And then to spite her, they decide they're going to clean up the whole place without her. And then later on, they're looking at photographs. Like one of them is a photograph of her. So I don't know if the implication is because they get super duper embarrassed when she comes in late, after looking at least one picture of her. Are they dinging on Komiya? Is that what we're supposed to gain from that? Or were they nervous that they were looking at photographs they took and were thinking of submitting to the contest, the competition? Because knowing how obsessive she has been about wanting to, submit her photo of Eita and Haruto on the baseball field to the competition, maybe they were fearful that there would be jealousy or something like that if they had their own photography they wanted to submit. But then she gives them permission for that, and like there's this sigh of relief in them. So I don't know, they were relieved that they didn't get caught looking at pictures of her, or that they now they don't have to worry about wanting to submit some photographs of their own to this competition. I don't know. But, like I said, the happily ever after ending, she would get an award, something that would warrant her photo club not to have to be shut down. And as far as the relationship dynamics goes, though, I have no idea who's going to hook up with whom. It could be this series ends and nobody ever progresses. It's just the high school fancies, the puppy love that we all go through, and then you have to move on beyond it as you grow up out of high school, and if you go to college or if you go into the workplace, These could just be these lingering things that happen in your youth that you have to let go of. I don't know how this is going to culminate, but because of the charm, because of the endearing nature of the characters, the relatability of some of them, the laugh out loud humor to do with some of these characters, it's just, I love it. It's endeared to me. And again, you could say this is convoluted. It makes no sense. It's stupid. It's annoying. All of those things. If that's how you feel about it, good on you. But I'm having the opposite reaction to it. I'm just endeared to it. I'm enjoying it. And I really genuinely want to see where these characters evolve to. How their stories culminate, whether that brings them together or they're pushed further apart as they grow and evolve beyond these years. And so, yeah, otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 3 of Just Because, if you've seen it as well, if you did enjoy it, if you're finding it to be annoying and cliche, all that good stuff. You just can't get into it. I mean, anything goes in the comments below. Our POVs can certainly disagree. It's all about the topic of talk, having a great conversation. And, but yeah, my 2 cents on it is I'm loving it. I was laughing out loud with Haruto giving chase, trying to catch up with Hatsuki and her friend and everything. And again, all the expressions on his face had me chuckling out loud. And I just, at the end of the day, I kind of felt bad for Eita. I kind of felt bad for Hatsuki because Hatsuki, she's dwelling on this idea and becoming resigned to this idea of moving ever forward without this passion for an artistic nature, for music to follow along with her. She doesn't as yet have any, sense of scope for that to be something that can be part of her future. And with Eita, it's just, here he is, he likes a girl, the girl likes his friend, and, he's being dogged after by the photo club girl who doesn't even know who he is, and like he's just exacerbated, he's just put upon, and he just wants a break, and so I find it all to be endearing and a very fun watch. And yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me on this, as I say, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.